Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his good friend, Mr. Todd Baldwin, who is an outstanding real estate investor. He and I were talking offline about how excited we are getting because the trend has finally broken our direction. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, yeah, man. So we both have done, I don't know, we've done okay the last couple of years. We've done the work. We've done mailings. We've done wholesale deals, all that stuff. We've probably refied some debt. We've got some dry powder. We're ready to rock and roll, but it's been the last 2 years were remarkably hard, profitable, but hard. Mm-hmm. I think the next 2 years, I think every month between now and the end of 2023 gets easier. I think what we saw this month in many markets, not all, many markets, is we saw fear of missing out go from the buyers to the sellers. And it's just starting. Dude, I have been here before. It's about to get good. Mm-hmm. What are you seeing out there?
Yes. First of all, what's funny is the first half the year and last year when we would talk, I would say, man, I really feel for first-time home buyers. Now I'm saying I really feel for sellers who are freaking out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of sellers feel that they are missing selling at this high, crazy peak. And so they're scrambling. And I did see, and you can fact check me on this, but I saw something, I think it was on Redfin, where 1 out of 5 homes, so 20% of homes, actually lowered their list price.
I did. I saw that. I read that article. It's factually, it was Redfin or Zillow. I think it was Redfin. 1 in 5 had a price drop in the last 30 days.
Right. Yeah. Which, properties were going for well above asking, even just a few months ago.
Oh yeah.
And now, they're dropping their price a little bit, which again, it's good for folks like us because we can go in and scoop up houses for cheaper than what they actually are worth. Which people are going to be upset about that, but that is life.
Yeah. So the beauty about sellers freaking out. So again, I've been doing this a long time. I have seen this movie before, which is really funny, right? I was buying at the peak and then it rolled over. So again, the cycle we are going through right now, minus the wave of adjustable rate mortgages, that is very different because that's going to be kind of the game changer this time. Again, I was buying back in 2001. I was buying in 2008, 2009, 2010. So I saw and lived through and invested in and bought all the way down. I did. I didn't know where the bottom was. So here's the difference. Last time, all the adjustable rate mortgages forced more and more inventory to come on the market. Because again, people made financial decisions. It was called a strategic default. My payment went from A to B. I can rent for A minus or whatever this difference is, or A to C, and I can rent for B. I'm gonna rent. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna live here for a year, 2 or 3 for free. Strategic default. That won't happen this time. Because again, people aren't. If you haven't paid attention yet, if you sell your home or lose your home, you're gonna rent somewhere else. And what else is going on? Rents are exploding. And oh, by the way, if you guys don't know or don't remember or are too young to have been through this, rents go up as people lose houses. It just happens, right? Supply and demand. So I think a lot of people are, they're going to be what I call wish sellers. So let's talk about that because again, me as an investor and really, real estate agents, I feel for real estate agents. There's going to be a lot of sellers who have wish pricing. I want to get out the very tippity top. My neighbor sold for $440. I want $475 or $275 and a $250, whatever it is. They're going to put it on. They're going to get the first newbie agent to put the sign in the yard. They're going to get nobody at the open house. I'm hearing from agents, it's already happening. 0 open house visits. 2 weekends in a row. Then the seller is going to call up the agent and yell at them, but they will not lower their price. Again, they are $275 in the $250 market. Mm-hmm. Agents don't work with those sellers because they don't have to sell. They're trying to get that last crumb off the table. But if they don't get $275, they're not moving anywhere because where are they going to go? Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a percentage, and we don't know what percentage it's going to be that aren't real sellers. Then there are going to be the sellers, and these are the people that I am actively marketing to right now. Right? I have PropStream. I had my team on the phone or on this channel 2 weeks ago or whatever it was. We're actively marketing to people who have homes that were bought during the last crisis. Our message is basically, are you afraid of a crash? don't lose equity or whatever the message is. Because I want to find that person. Why? Because they got gobs of equity and maybe they want out. Real estate is inefficient. We'll probably talk about this in episode number 3. I need to find one motivated seller. My market of Fresno, California doesn't need to crash 75% again. I just need to find one seller that sells at a 30% discount. That's my job. And this FOMO that I'm seeing change, man, sellers are really freaking out. But again, some of them aren't real sellers, but some of them are. And my job is to go find the truly motivated. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel for sellers right now who are true sellers. I know a few people who they're not real estate investors. They have one home that they live in, right? And they've listed those homes and in hopes of capturing a bunch of cash and then using it to go buy the next home. And they haven't gotten any offers, and it's been sitting on the market for a couple of weeks, which means it might be priced too high, or it's priced fine, but interest rates are 6%. And so the pool of buyers is smaller. But also, as you said, even if they go out and they sell their home, and let's say they have a couple $100,000 in cash, where they're going to go buy? Every other house is inflated and interest rates are high. So there's really no good options.
Yeah. Again, everybody's situation is different, but if I had a friend, again, in the Bay Area, which is just nutty prices, and I think the Bay Area is in a recession already. Again, very tech-based, silicon, pre-IPO companies. It's bad here today, I think. But if somebody wanted to sell a Mountain View home for $2 million, for example, but they were going to stay in the area, let's say they bought 4 years ago, they're sitting on $500,000. I would ask them, what are you doing? Right? Because they probably this is why the Fed broke housing. Right? You bought a home 5 years ago. You have a bunch of equity. We have this pandemic. You refinance to sub 3%. You put a couple $100,000 in the bank. You add a pool. Now you want to sell because you have this artificial gain. Where are you going to go? You're going to trade that 2.7 mortgage for a 6.1? Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, housing is so broken today. That's why transactions are going to go down, because at the end of the day, mom and dad are financially literate, at least a little bit. And because this is what's happening to my friends, people I know. Oh my God, more inventory. I want to go shopping. We found the home that we love. Let's say it's in Sacramento. It's $600,000. And oh, by the way, they were looking in Sacramento a year ago and it was $500,000. Last year, they were easily approved because rates were 3%. Now the home's $100,000 more, but the rate's doubled. It's almost 6% for them. They went back to their mortgage broker, who was wonderful to work with, and unfortunately had to give them the bad news. You guys don't qualify anymore. I mean, talk about a kick in the shins, right?
Sure.
So they got to stay where they are. I mean, affordability is a real problem. Affordability has crashed. And God, the first time home buyer, man. So, I mean, it's so bad right now.
It's awful. I mean, I know some folks who luckily well, you can say luckily or unlucky. They don't actually have any interest in buying a home ever. They love the flexibility and freedom of renting, and they want to be able to live where they want, and that's great for them. So they're not really, squeezed by this. But for anyone who's trying to buy their first home, it's really, really hard. And I would say, do what the investors are going to be doing, which is just be patient. Because people are going to freak out and they're going to sell their homes for a discount.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I've been telling people the last 2 weeks or so, because the FOMO just happened, like the last 30 days. I've been telling people, dude, I'm such an open book. I told people the last 2 years, I only looked at first day listings, right? The only things I won were if I was first. I don't even bother with first day listings anymore. It's a canceled search. Don't look at it. I'm now only looking at 15 days or older. I want stuff that other people have looked at and passed on, because I want to be there with an offer. Dude, let me just tell you right now, I will not be offering list price for anything all year. I guarantee it. Not happening.
No.
And I'll only be writing great offers. Again, I would tell a homeowner, right? I'm typically a guy who talks to investors, but assuming you're a first-time home buyer or somebody trading up, and you don't have to buy on this street or today, I would tell everybody to be patient. I think this FOMO has just started, and the consumer is easy to predict. When they pivot, it often goes very, very far the other way. So if the pivot happened this month, dude, wait till August. These people are going to be like losing their minds. And that's where I want to start fishing.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because there's a piece of property that I'm looking at that I actually do really like, and I'm not buying it. And I'll tell you why. So it's a vacant piece of land. It's 2.5 acres, and it has views of the Puget Sound, which for us, it feeds in, the Puget Sound feeds into the ocean, for anyone who's not familiar with the Seattle area. Anyway, the way the lot is situated, it actually can't be subdivided. So a developer couldn't go in there and build like 6 single family homes. So no developer will touch it, because they don't want to, you know, spend $2 million on a build and then maybe get $2.5–3 million when they sell and pay all those commissions and taxes and everything. There's not enough profit anyway, you know, to pull their money out. Most people too, for their own personal home, aren't going to be spending $2 million on a build. It's very few people who are doing that. I'm in the fortunate position where I can do that, but I'm one of the only ones. So I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if that piece of land, they want 850 grand for it today, for a piece of dirt, which is not that it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to see if I can get it for 200, and I'm just going to wait.
How long's it been listed?
Dude, it's been listed for 7 months.
Yeah. Has it had a price drop yet?
Yes, it was listed at 900. Then it went to 875, because again, a builder made an offer, and in the feasibility study found out, oh, I can't build 7 homes here.
Right.
So they backed out. The price was dropped. Another builder came into it. That builder also backed out. And then there's been little old me. I'm not a developer, so to speak. I would build a family compound. I build a mansion with a pool on a sports court. That's what I would build. And it's, you can build that there.
Yeah,
but because
you build one of them, not
exactly. Yeah, you can't subdivide and have 2 different, you know, or 3 different parcels. But because I'm such a unique buyer, like most people aren't building a mansion with a pool and a sports court, especially in this specific neighborhood. There's very little competition for me.
No,
so I can just wait it out.
No. Yeah. And have you actually written your offer yet for the first time to tease them?
Dude, I actually made them an offer, and they rejected it. And then they came back to me because they had someone back out. So at the time it was listed for 875. I offered 775. They declined me, and then they came back and they're like, hey, you know, sorry, can you buy it for 775? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, what about 750? And I was like, no. And now I'm just waiting.
Yeah. I hope people, this again, if you're an investor, right, being a homeowner is a little different because you probably have school systems and, you know, school, all these other family dynamics. But the more patient you could be, you're going to, again, recessions, bear markets, whatever you want to call them, are the time you make life-changing wealth. Life-changing. Yeah. So we're going to talk more about that in episode 3. But yeah, sellers are freaking out. It's just starting. Price drops, more listings, more inventory. Dude, everything I've been talking about, the real estate slowdown is coming. It's here. Days on market going up. Inventory going. My buy box has gone up, doubled in about 6 weeks. But again, back to YouTubers only looking at one data, it went from 500 to 1,000. It's a double. However, my market, normally speaking, right, X 2020, 2021 is 2,300. So we're still 50% below a normal market, but you know, YouTubers don't like facts. So again, but we're heading back there, right? It will go from 500 back to 2,000, right? It'll get there. I bet you it's there by August. One of my agents and I have a bet. He thinks it's October. He says, God, how can it go that fast? I'm like, dude, you're not paying attention. Affordability has crashed. All these people are going to freak out. Listings are going to pile on the market, and I'm going to have a field day. But yeah, it's coming. Whether it's, you know, August or October, who cares? It's coming. So, Todd, where can people find you? Because this is so much, dude. The market is finally coming to investors. The last 2 years were just ridiculously hard. I'm excited for the next 2 years.
Yeah. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it is at Todd J. Baldwin. And on YouTube, it's just my name, Todd Baldwin. And yeah, I agree. The investor time is now.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.